completed task 3. It is like 7:43 a.m. Again, Saturday, July 22nd, 2023. I created the list. I said I was gonna write it down. I started writing it, then I saw when I had to reorganize everything, I had to rewrite it all the time. So I was like, forget it. I just did it on the PC like I normally do. So I'm gonna have it here. I'm just gonna take a picture of it so I can have it with me throughout the day. Ignore the white hair. It's just an anomaly. I don't know, but so what I have on this list, and it's organized in the order that I'm gonna do it: shower and dress, put away the food. I have to retrieve a monitor, and then um, go pick up some food, and then create some women's mentorship cards. And those mentorship cards are because um, because I had an experience. I don't have a lot of time to talk about this because I need to get moving. But I had an experience where I went to a church, and somebody told me to ask this prominent person about the women's ministry, and they were like, "Are you a member?" They're not even gonna talk. But women's ministry doesn't require a membership if you're part of the body of God. You're part of the body of God. And some of the things I wanted to talk about in regards to women's mentorship and just in general, just the ministry in general, is one, like I said before, about your passion versus being manipulated, learning to manage that appropriately without doing God's work without overstepping boundaries against yourself or anyone else, because sometimes we got to take the person out of that. And then the second part was star, again, sexuality, trust and truth, aging, responsibility, and the reality of it. We need to talk about the reality of it because I need to know what the reality of it is, because I'm just like flipping. So then the next one, and then also, am I guilty? Because I have had services provided to me by other people. I have lots of people to be thankful for this past week. It's amazing. And I want to know, am I guilty? When they look at me, do they feel that, hey, I wonder if she's really using the investment the way that it was, whether it be an investment of time, love, funds, whatever, So I want to know, am I guilty? And if so, I want you to know that you can talk to me. I'm open and receptive to it. I try to talk to a person that, had that situation. They weren't receptive. They were, it was a waste. And I need to talk about that too. That's all in that same thing. So mentorship card, and so just random women. I'm gonna be introducing myself to random women. Walk down the street. Hey, my name is Maria. I could use some mentorship on this. If you have any wisdom on this, please reach out to me, and you can direct me, or you can send me a text regarding verses that you might have, and we'll talk about it. And I need to talk about the ones that I saw. But it wasn't nothing amazing. But when I went to that church on that Sunday, the man that talked about it, he was on point with it. Okay, so, and I do have a plan to go to this other church where that the pastor was talking about, he had an issue with that. He struggled, and the only reason that, because I thought we could figure it out, because I think we were pure people that purely struggle. You're not trying to trigger each other to think about that stuff. It's struggle. It's a pure struggle. But what happened was that I was invited back, but when I came back, nobody showed up. So I think and it was all men there. So I think they intentionally dished it. Whatever the reason may be. But anyway, so then the next one, I do have a job fair to go to today. I want to make sure I created a website link for my resume, so that way I'm not carrying around pieces of paper. So I need to do that. And then when I get back, I have some editorials that I need to do, which all goes into updating my website on gun violence. There was something that happened on my street. I have a letter that I want to update there. And then I want to update all the people that helped me. I talked about me volunteering, but last week, every single body helped me. Everybody. Like, people were feeding me, clothing me. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and just keeping me company, like literally just keeping me company. There's a lady I ran into yesterday that, when this guy gave me food, I hope the job fair goes well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it really exists because it's Saturday, and the type of job fair is kind of unheard of. But I'm gonna put my faith faith in it and get dressed and go, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Faith. God. That's how God supposedly moves in faith. It's things that you will never believe are possible or that you don't believe exist, but you just have faith and do it. I'm gonna have faith and do it. Who knows? Maybe something else will show up in the midst of all that, right? And so after the job fair. When I get back, of course, I have jobs in my inbox, because I applied to so many things, like so many random, random. It didn't matter to me. And actually, yesterday I went to churches. I sure did. I sure did. And what's so weird about ever being in a situation where you really need a job or need something? I was looking at it like, yeah, I might get a free meal. And I like churches. I might get a free meal out of the bargain. Of course, I'm not going to say that, because then definitely I'll even be talking myself out of that job. Meaning they'll be like, "What? Is that why she's here?" Which probably is a big reason, like a good reason I would be there. But moving right along, we're not gonna talk about that. Then I talked about the editorials, all the people that helped me, and then Craigslist postings. Posting every single thing for sale. When we talk about entrepreneurship, um, everything can be for sale, and it needs to be because you don't need it. You can't take it with you. And if it's something that you're not actively using, it's replaceable. You know what I'm saying? So let's get that. Then I do have an interview at 6 p.m. I like the person that reached out to me. They were fairly new, but that's how they usually do it. They have a fairly new person reach out because they're going to be extra super professional. But then when you get there, it's like a whole group thing. But the way she talked to me about it, it seems like a legitimate interview. It's not one of those things where you have 100 people and you're like, oh my gosh, what? But and then I want to update my website. And then I did get some approval from for some assistance. At least it was verbal. But I need to make sure. I'm suspicious of everything these days. It might have been $4.95 because it just happened too fast. I walked in and they said, fill this out, sign these things. You got it. You're good to go. I'm like, what? I was thrown out so fast. I was like, this can't be true. So I need to put it in writing. Also, I want to make some new merch. I haven't made any new merch in a long time, but this has been the story for the whole past week. Like I said, every week I wanted to put volunteer things I did. Last week, okay, the first week I volunteered for others. The second week, I didn't because I needed that money. The third week, instead of me volunteering for others, I tried, but actually everybody was taking care of me, and I need to post that, and I need to make it known that I was the, I was just so flabbergasted because I was like, am I a stray dog? Like everybody, like literally. Everybody, the rocks were crying out to take care of me. And I didn't finish the story about the girl that sat with me. Some guy gave me some shrimp fried rice. And, we're familiar, right? We don't know each other, but you're familiar. You see each other, right? And then, I wanted to share with this girl. She probably didn't need it. I think she was just keeping me company because she literally took like 3 bites and put it on a piece of paper and just sat there. And she did eat it, just to keep me company. And I saw her yesterday morning on my way to take care of something. And I was just like, hey, do you remember me? And at first she was just real stoic, straight faced because she got her own business. But then she came alive because she knew that I probably needed her more than she needed me. And she was like, yes, ma'am, I remember you. And, she lit up a little bit to make me feel good and to make me feel appreciated. So God bless her, bless her for real. Um, but the t-shirt that I want to make, and maybe for every single type of ministry that I do, is going to have that saying because it's so important because I'm seeing that not everybody practices it. And I got this from a guy that was at a church that I met once, this first part of it. And the second part I got from a woman from another church. And that's why it's so good to be diverse. And if I can get their full names, I'll put them in teeny tiny print in the bottom so you never forget where that came from. But the first one is, your light is only effective in darkness. And I talked about this the other day. If you keep it in the church where the lights are so big, how do you know that you really have any light? Because you're not in the darkness. What happens when you're going out in the darkness? Do you have any light? So your light is only effective in darkness. So let's not judge. And second, the woman told me, and she can't be a woman's ministry because I've been on her all week thanking her for stuff, even thanking people and having them acknowledge your thinking. That's work because you have other stuff to do. You have, oh, Bill, you're welcome. You don't have time for all that all day long. But God's people help God's people. And so I think every single ministry would have that. Like the shirt would be like kind of italics, light. Your light is only effective in darkness. I'll think of different designs for it and I'll make it and I'll show y'all and y'all can tell me which one you like best. And the second line would be God's people help God's people. And that would be more of a block print. And then with again their names really tiny, you probably wouldn't even be able to notice the names, but I know they're there because it's important for me to know, right? And then under that or on the back, it would say whatever ministry it is. If it's women's ministry, men's ministry, I'm not a man, but perhaps get some brothers involved. But anyhow, and then yeah, and then I want to talk about my sins because I definitely had some. I remember being 15 years old and I didn't have any sins. And so I made up a sin. My sin was going to be I was going to have sexual thoughts as my sin because, hey, that doesn't hurt anybody, but it does hurt people because it takes you away from actually being able to do good. And I have to, how much time have I spent on here? Too much, I know. So my sins are profanity. I need to get rid of that. It's awful. I'm listening to Christian music and then something happens. I'm like, oh, shoot, whatever. That's not good, not appropriate, not a good look. Second, sexual release thoughts, and just because and this is an excuse, and I need to address all of that. Like what's really going on? Is this a scientific thing? Is it just me? Is it my age? I need to find out what's going on, and that's that STAR program that I was talking about: the sexuality, truth, trust, aging, is it part of my aging? Is that what's going on? I don't know what's going on, and I need to figure it out, and I need other people to help me figure it out because I can't figure it out just based on me. I need to talk to other people. And so, yeah, it's going to be a weird conversation, but it doesn't have to be weird. If you're mature, it's not weird, right? And then responsibility and realism in regards to that, right? And then clutter, because if you watch the movie Seven and the guy, his place looked like, whatever, that is a sin. That is a sin. It's a wasteful sin because you're not appropriately using the things that you have been blessed with, or appropriately presenting them. It's a sin. If you get a chance, the movie Seven is showing up free on Tubi right now, so go watch it. It's from way back in the day, but I remember key parts of it, and that's it. But anyways, I'm gonna get moving. So my next step is shower and dress. The end time for this is 7:59 a.m. Time is going so fast, so I may have to rearrange yet again some of the things that I already have planned. But I love you, peace, and we're gonna get it done.